Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Let's dive into this. Let's dive into this Zion Williamson situation, man. You know, and I gotta tell you, there's so many. All right, so for those of you who don't know, Zion Williamson, former number one draft pick, the NBA draft, recently had a gender reveal. And in his gender reveal, there was a porno star that came out and started putting all his shit on blast. I mean, putting all his shit on the internet. There's messages, there's all sorts of things that she's putting on the internet that has kind of rocked the NBA world. I know the finals are going on, but this has really rocked the NBA world because as players, as ballers, as athletes, former athletes, current athletes, coaches, whoever is really heavily involved in this athletic fitness world is thinking like, oh, fuck, this dude done got because you got the woman blasting him on the net, B. This isn't some like, side piece where you roll up on her 2 a.m. or whatever, you get your rock off and then you roll out. But this is some that's all over the internet. All his business is out there, right? So there's been a lot of like sort of humorous but serious things going on. And here's why I want to take you guys through this, because just the fact that this has happened, it takes me back to a story and a situation that takes me back to a lot of different situations. But the main one I want to talk to you guys today about is when I was 19, and one of the things that kept me away, truly blessed me in a way that I could proudly, honestly say I never got tripped up by the ladies for the most part, because I was around OGs. I was around players that that got caught up in situations, and they saw a young cat like me, and they were indirectly telling me, look, Aswan, be careful. Aswan, be careful. Aswan, be careful. All right. So let me give you an example of one. There's plenty, and I'll probably do more on this specific topic. But so when I was 19 years old, I was recovering from a torn ACL. Recovering from a torn ACL that I had the previous season, right? And I worked at this gym. Named Washington Sports Club, and I was just a front desk associate, and there were trainers. There were trainers there who were, basically doing this as their full-time job. This was their full-time thing. And several of the trainers were former football players that didn't make it to the league, right? Didn't make it to the league. And when you're a player who didn't make it to the league, there's always a story behind that. There's always situations that happen. You have to get really lucky. A lot of times it really isn't talent. You have to get really lucky when it comes to being in that 1%. Not to say you don't got to be talented, but in many ways you got to get lucky. Can I get tripped up with personal shit, right? So there was a trainer there. I won't put his name out there, but there's a trainer there who went to, I believe it was Marshall University in West Virginia. And, he was an NFL prospect. And I noticed that when he would train at the gym, I noticed that he would wear a sleeve over his calf. All right? So reason he wore that sleeve over his calf is because it was the night before his pro day. And for those of you who do not know what a pro day is basically a combine, a job interview for collegiate football players, collegiate athletes, in which you're about to go and run and work out in front of 32 NFL franchises that can, set you up. If you do the right thing, they can set you up and you get your opportunity to show what you can do, right? So this particular player decided to go visit his side piece, right? He goes visits his side piece the night before his pro day, and then ends up getting shot. Ends up getting shot right in his leg. Done. I mean, it's gonna be really hard to run the fucking 40, right? Really hard to run the 40-yard dash after you have a bullet wound in your calf muscle. So for those of you who think, playing around and joking and you're sort of poking fun at situations like this, I get it. Everyone wants to crack jokes, but let's be 100% honest. This is no laughing matter. All right. Be very careful. I'm going to say it again. Be very careful in who you decide you're going to be playing around with, running around with, playing games with, and all that kind of shit. Because I've heard it said. In fact, there was a previous gym that I worked at. There was a former basketball player. He played for St. Thomas. Now, again, I don't like to put names out here on this, but he knows who he is. Former player St. Thomas Aquinas, who was dealing with some situations with his wifey and all that kind of stuff. And I remember him telling me, look, women have ruined more careers than injuries. Women have ruined more careers than injuries. And to be honest with you, man, you cannot blame the women on that in many ways. As men, I know it's not fair, but as men, there's a certain standard that we have to have. You know, women, they can play that victim role. That victim role is accepted when it comes to them. Us as men, we have a completely different standard. And is it fair? No, it's not fair, but that's just the way the fuck it is. All right, that's just the way it is. And we have to figure out ways to be there for each other and make sure we warn folks not to make these mistakes. All right, so like I said, I'll do more on this. I'll dive deeper into all of this. There's so much I can get into. Stay tuned. Main website, makeyourmove.com. That's makeymove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.